think the way I'm going to structure this is I'm going to like work a little bit, do a couple things, and I'll do my best to pause and talk about what I'm doing as I'm going along. So, like right now, I have a file, like a markdown file that I want to copy from somewhere else into this current directory here. So, um, I could like CD around or I could use Finder, but I know where that folder is just based off of the way that I organize stuff. Um, I'm not the most organized person, but I just know where stuff is. Anyway, so I want to copy a file from somewhere else and into this directory. So what I'm going to do is use cp, just the copy command, and then I'm going to go grab it. Now, two things I just did. Um, this schwa character, which you get from hitting shift backtick, that little key above your tab key on your keyboard, that is your home directory. And your home directory is where all of your familiar um, like stuff is. So like I can just list the stuff in my home directory, and some of this is different from what you might have, but I've got like my desktop, my documents, downloads, movies, basically all like very user space specific stuff. Um, and the schwa thing is a common um, alias or shortcut for that. Anyway, so I did CP and then I started writing out the location. Now I started writing documents and I hit tab and it automatically completed for me. So you should start like just like constantly spamming tab as you like are trying to find something, because it's much faster than doing like ls, oh okay, and then ls and writing out the whole thing and then being, oh okay, and then ls. You know what I mean? That gets old really fast. Ls, you'll still use it all the time, but this is like a shortcut. Okay, so getting back to it, I want documents, ACA. It was in this, and it was howtocomputer.md. Now I need to just specify the destination of where I want to copy this file, which is dot slash. Dot is the Unix shorthand for current directory, and so if I just ls everything, I have how to computer in here now. Great. So let's just go look at it. How to computer, right? So again, I just opened it using Vim, which is my text editor of choice, and we are going to talk a little bit about how to learn Vim, my preferred way for inexperienced users to get started with it, that I think is really accessible. I use it a lot in the terminal, but I do also use it in Atom, which is going to be the way that you'll be using it as well. So this is just a lot of fluff. It was an outline for a talk I was considering giving at one point. But what I actually want to do in here is I want to just look at like gloss over some of the commands I listed down here. And I can actually do that using a plugin I have. Now, one of the best parts of Vim is the rich plugin ecosystem. I don't even know how many plugins you can download and install for Vim, the command line version anyway. There's almost too many in a way. So simplicity is key, but some of them are really, really cool. One of my favorites for note taking is Live Down. And so the way I make that happen is just like how I would write and quit the program. So this colon thing I didn't explain last time, but that colon down there, that is what's called X mode, or it's just a way to execute commands from within Vim. And the command I want to execute in this case is live down. So I want to do live down preview, and I hit enter. And live down starts up a local server that has formatted all of my markdown for me, and it'll update as I make changes, and it's pretty nice, right? So anyway, um, these are the things I wanted to really look at here. These commands. Um, these are like very, as far as like commands I use the most, I mean, this is really it. On Mac OS, you can get really far just using Command Tab and Command Space. So Command Tab and Command Space, um, just Command Tab. Like I can just switch between applications, windows that I have open. Uh, it's pretty self-explanatory, but I mean it's much faster than like going down here and futzing around with the dock. Um, yeah, I mean you should be getting in the habit of using this command. On Windows, it would be Alt Tab. Same thing on Linux. I mean, Alt is in the same position basically as Command on a Mac OS keyboard. So, um, so that's cool. And you can go backwards by holding Shift. So right now I'm holding Command and I'm tabbing. Now I'm holding Command and Shift and I'm tabbing. So I keep my thumb on Command, my pinky on Shift, and I just tab with my ring or middle finger. Okay? So that, I guess, maybe brings us to an important point that I'm going to try to make a note of in here. Where did I put that thing? There it is. We're going to get to this in a second, but home position, that's what I was thinking of. Home position. You remember this from keyboarding class, right? Home position. You know, like you probably had some kind of scary teacher who, well, I did anyway, was like keep your hands like this at all times. It's like 10 and 2, but for typing. This is still just as important in for like a developer's workflow for good ergonomic habits for developers. I would make one suggestion. I don't keep both my thumbs on space. I keep one of my thumbs on command, or this modifier key right here, whatever you have. Alt if you're on Windows, command if you're on Mac. And I mean, just because there's so many commands that I use with command, I just use one without even thinking about it to close that tab. Command W. So I mean, like, uh, yeah, it's just a good like habit. It's a good. I guess it reminds me from learning musical instruments. Like you try to develop a good posture for your hand so that you can improve all around. Anyway, I don't want to beat it to death. So yeah, command, and then also command is right next to alt, which does a lot as well. The Mac alt and the um, Windows, the PC alt as well. So, I mean, one thing that it does, one thing you can do with Command or Alt is delete more quickly, okay? So, let's add that while I'm thinking of it. Delete more quickly with Command and Alt, right? And I'm sorry, this is Mac specific. I don't remember how you do it on Windows. But I know with a Mac keyboard, you can delete, like let's say I just want to get rid of this whole line. I don't want to put my marketing plan into action yet. And you just you hold Command and hit Delete, and that gets rid of that whole line. Command Z gets it back. That's the undo character. It's like, well, what if I want to, just edit part of it, and you need to go a few words back? I can just do Option or Alt Delete. Okay, so one more time. That was Command Delete and Option Delete. Deletes backwards by words. Right? Pretty straightforward, So those are really helpful. Like, again, home position. Use your thumb for these keys. Like, just keep your hand, like, I would show you, but, like, keep your thumb on Command or Alt. It will just make such a difference. It's very different from, like, having your hand. I noticed some people, and I used to do this too, some people like keep their hands like down by their mouse pad, like off the keyboard, and use their pointer finger or their ring finger or something to toggle between Command or Option. It's better than nothing, but like you really benefit more from having your thumb on either Option or Alt. Trust me, it'll make a huge difference. So thumb always on Command Alt. Okay. It applies on Windows too, actually. I mean, the Windows key, which is right next to the Alt key on the left, that thing does a lot. You can do, like, I know you can do, like, what is it? Windows plus S on Windows 10 and search for any program you have. That's really useful. You can just start typing the name of a program and hit enter and it'll run it. Or a document, you can open it. Speaking of opening files, you might already know about this, but Command Space is another kind of canonical shortcut I use. Command Space, I need to open something, I just do that. I want to open iTunes, I just do that. But just kidding, because I never want to open iTunes. iTerm, I need that. Atom, I need that. I can even find files, taxes somewhere. Yeah, taxes. Or the definition of taxis or Wikipedia, whatever I need. I don't know. Like, this is easily one of the best features of Mac OS, of the Mac OS like graphical user interface, and probably one of the only things that keeps me stuck on Macs. Anyway, so slight modifier to that would be Command Alt Space. If you want a more detailed search with Finder, you can quickly open Finder and start indexing your entire disk just with Command Alt Space, which is pretty cool. Now, last thing before second to last thing, we'll talk about some of these maybe. Yeah, we'll talk about these in the next video, I think. So, Alt Space. If you have iTerm 2, which I think you should, the standard Mac terminal gets the job done, but iTerm's just got so many nice features that, why wouldn't you use it? So iTerm you can enable a system-wide hotkey for iTerm, and what that means is that you can show or hide iTerm 2 with a system-wide hotkey. Now, normally it's Option space like this, so Alt space. Again, yet another reason to keep your thumb next to Alt at all times, because then you can just open, or you can just swap open your terminal anytime you need it. I have it mapped to something different just because the default key conflicts with. Anyway, don't worry about it. But yeah, I mean, I can just switch open or close my terminal at any moment, which is really useful, especially if, like me, you edit a lot of text just right in the terminal. Okay, so yeah, to sum it up, Command Tab, Command Space, Alt Space, and iTerm 2. That will get you really far. Okay? In home position at all times. Just for the love of God. Keep your thumbs like near the hotkeys. It makes such a big difference in your efficiency. So when we come back, maybe we'll um, talk about a couple little tweaks you can make, and then look at some more command hotkeys and why they're nice. Okay.